Hey everyone, welcome back to Behind the Grape here from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Keeping on the same theme from a couple nights ago when I started talking about local wines and supporting local in the face of COVID and all our businesses that are suffering right now. It's not just our wines and our wineries, it's also our importers. The guys that are really out there on the street supplying wines to the restaurants, trying to make a buck. I know a lot of people think, well, you're a wine importer, you've got to be really well off. Making money off of wine is not an easy job, and for most people, it's not about making money. It's a labor of love, and that's what this is tonight. Talking about Nicholas Pearce and the wines of his portfolio. We'll talk about one wine in particular, but Nicholas Pearce is probably one of the most down to earth, nicest people you'll meet in the wine industry. Those of you who know me, you know there's a handful of others that I really respect in this business. Nicholas is up there with them. His office is at 1347 Danforth Avenue here in Toronto, out by Monarch Park, for those of you who know the area. I've known Nick for almost 12 years. He came back to Ontario, I believe it was in 2009, armed with a MBA, from the Wine Institute of Bordeaux. And he literally started his business bottle by bottle, case by case, to the point where he's now got an office on the Danforth. But it was through hard work and dedication. And when you look around, as importers, it's not just about the wines that you bring in, it's what the company that you keep and the people that you have working for you that share the same values, which are decency, commitment to product, commitment to service. And I look at some people on his team. He's got Michelle Ratscliffe, who is amazing. He's got Taryn Zaharchuk, who is arguably one of the brilliant somms in the city. He's got his wife, Ashley, who, she really drives the ship, right? All these sommeliers around her. She needs to be the one that's, puts her fist down and keeps the business running. You've got Ian Thresher, who I won't say how long he's been in the game for because I don't want to age either one of us, but Ian, also a great sommelier. So you look at all these people out there really pushing to work for Nick and work for themselves to put out there the best wines into the market that they could possibly find. Speaks volumes. And then the last one, someone who I respect immensely, who I have to think of as a partner, and especially in this wine that we're going to talk about here. He's got Mr. Will Prudhomme with him, and they do, on the side of Nicholas Pearce Wines, they do a label called Pearce Prudhomme. I've known Will for more than a dozen years. We used to study together, we pushed each other, really an icon, not just in the Toronto wine scene, but the Canadian wine scene. And like I say, they've got this project that they've done called Pearce Prudhomme. And I first saw this project when I was with the Shangri-La. It was Will actually that came in to see me. And he said, hey, I want you to taste this wine. And before I even tasted it, he pulled the bottle out, and it was their Willamette Valley Pinot Noir. And I just looked at the label, and my jaw dropped, because it reminded me of a iconic label. And you'll see in a second when I show it to you. And he was like, no, don't worry, we got it all vetted and everything's good. But in my mind, all I could think of was, this is a testament to something that you believe in. You've gone out, you've created this partnership, you've made this wine, you're going to label it, you're going to sell it into restaurants, and it's going to look eerily similar to something else. To me, that showed, we believe in our product so much, we're going to compete with whoever is out there. And they have. Under this Pearce Prudhomme label, they've got a Chenin Blanc from South Africa. They've got the Cinsault Syrah from South Africa. They've got the Pinot Gris from Willamette. They've got the 3XP with Taz, so 3XP Chardonnay, the 3Ps, Pearce, Prudhomme, and Pender, Paul Pender being the winemaker from Taz. So, when I look at Nick Pearce as a whole, he's got the company that he's working hard to get wines into the restaurants, into your homes, and then he's got this project as a quasi winemaker. Just shows his passion to the craft of beverage. It's really unbelievable. I don't know where he finds the time. He's got two young children at home as well, but he does it. But today I did want to talk about the Pierce Prudhomme Cinsault Syrah from Stellenbosch, South Africa. Now, I've never been to South Africa. I know Will and Nicholas have been a number of occasions. For those of you who don't know, I mean, most of you know Syrah, but Cinsault is a grape that you really find in the Languedoc-Roussillon region, also a little bit in the Rhone. And it really was the backbone of red wines of South Africa up until about the 50s or 60s. And another little interesting fact about Cinsault is it was in 1925 that Cinsault was crossed with Pinot Noir to give what we now know as Pinotage. So oftentimes when you think about South African reds, we think Pinotage, and Pinotage is a derivative of Cinsault. Blended with the Syrah here, it actually adds a little bit of lightness, a little floral note. It softens up the Syrah. Because Syrah on its own can be quite pungent in a good way. I love Syrah. I'm a Rhone Ranger, and a Northern Rhone Ranger, I should say. I love Syrah. But let's look at this wine. So again, this is the Pierce Prudhomme Cinsault Syrah. They make it with a Radford Dale out of Stellenbosch, South Africa. It's pretty dark red. It's got a real floral note and candy. It's got candied strawberries, black cherries, black currant, black cassis, cocoa nibs. Remember those little cocoa nibs? Those vanilla, those almost vanilla licorices. Those nibs. It's got purple and violet flowers. Yeah, a little bit of a river rock minerality, some vanilla, some vanillin. Lots of Christmas cake and spices, often those oak influences. But it's a perfumed, candied nose. I always find the fruit is very candied. And I do attribute that a little bit to the Cinsault. And then when you really get in there, the Syrah comes through. Like there's that bell pepper, there's that green pepper, there's that eucalypt. It's not overpowering, but it's certainly there, those telltale Syrah markers. I would taste it. Well, really easy drinking wine. You know, that candied fruit, it's all still there. The red strawberries, raspberries. There's a bit of a black currant bud. The nib is still there, that cocoa nib. The purple and violet flowers. The river rock. A little bit of potpourri now too. That green eucalypt. All those baking spices. It's just a delicious wine. It's it's a medium bite. It's not overpowering. The tannins are really light. They're not in your face. I would drink this with like a really medium rare grilled steak. I'd have it with even a hard cheese like a pecorino. I'd even take a little pecorino with a little bit of a honeycomb, just the honeycomb to soften up that green note from the Syrah a little bit, and just to add a little more texture to the wine. But overall, it's delicious. It's $22.95. Everything in Nick's portfolio tends to run in that $20 to $30 range. Sorry, I shouldn't say everything. It does go up, but the wheelhouse is in that $20 to $30 range. And if you're really looking to support like a small business, a small local business, a hard-working business person, I can't recommend the wines of Nicholas Pierce enough. I've never been steered wrong. I've tried to always support them in every restaurant that I've ever been associated with or every hotel, not because he's a friend, but because the wines speak for themselves. And when you have wines of this caliber in your house or in your home, your guests at home and in the hotel will always be blown away, and you'll make yourself a new customer for Nicholas. So get out there, give him a call, 1347 Danforth Avenue, Nicholas Pierce Wines. This is the Cinsault Syrah. For those of you who don't know it, I recommend you look it up. It's $22 and you won't be disappointed. Thanks guys, and stay safe out there.